Yo, this is Dynamq, the Sudanese child representing for King Lagazee. Big up mighty, killing machine, King Lagazee. Lagazee sound you don't know in fine style. Out of a place called Ghana, you don't know. Run the rhythm. See this one now? This one is a tribute to great reggae music, you know? From the mighty Lagazee sound. Dynamq, the Sudanese child, your baby mother favorite singer. Come down, man.
Lagazee international sound, you don't know
Apart from Dynamq being a sound killer, he's also a singer.
This one is a medley to great reggae songs, you know?
Listen.
Talk to you, but it's not the same.
Brandon.
Baby, as a touching you.
Hey.
And every time you whisper my name, Lagazee runs to you. Yeah.
So on your screen is DJ Kobie of Ashanti Hi-Fi.
Together.
Handsome Rasta man.
And it won't be long.
You see me? The man full of style.
But it seems like forever.
It's early morning. So, you know, he's taking his, you know, I don't know whether it's coffee or tea or I don't know which is which. Kobie, what are you taking this morning?
Virgin straight bush tea.
The one is taking bush tea, you know.
Absolutely. You know we do it. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, man, everything blessed, everything good. If you say bush tea, what kind of bush have you put together for the tea?
Some ginger, some cinnamon, some spearmint, some peppermint, and some moringa.
Wow. Is the tea also good for strong back?
Come on, you know that. I'm still ready.
Yeah, listen, people, you have to listen to the combination. Please, can you mention it again so that you know people write it down? You understand me? Because it's good for men.
Come on. I said ginger, cinnamon, spearmint, peppermint, moringa.
Wow.
Yeah,
what a wicked combination, man.
Yeah, man. Good for the eye, man.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, King? How you doing? You good?
Yeah, man. Everything blessed, man. You understand me? I am happy to be here. Yeah. I'm happy to be alive. Okay. You understand me? And I'm happy for this moment. Everything blessed in Ghana. There is sunshine. You understand me? You know, 3 days ago, we had a little bit of rain and all these things. But today, it's sunshine. You understand me? And even though the air condition is on, I'm still sweating in the studio. You understand me? Like a fish. You understand? You know?
So it go.
Yeah, man. Where is Dynamq? Dynamq?
Yeah.
Dynamq, you on?
Yeah, man.
Yo, you can hear me?
Yep. I'm to you, no man. I can hear you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So, people, I have the two great sound killers on the line right now. But remember, couple of years back, DJ Kobie is one youth who has got Africa on his mind, and his, main aim is to make sure that he spread the good news of, reggae music through the African continent. And he said to me that, Lagazee, my main aim is to come home. You understand me? And believe you me, listen to his name. His name is Kobie Kwashi. So I was telling one row in the studio that is your senior brother, because the Kwashis to the Ga, lineage is what it is. You understand me? So anytime you come home, it's either you're going to Sempe or where? Yeah. You're going to Sempe, you understand me? So, Kobie, come home, man.
Yeah, man, I'm coming in this year, man. They watch nothing.
Definitely. So, Kobie has been going to South Africa, back to back, trying to fix up the reggae works over there. And mind you, there was even a clash between him and Lion Paul, and then Kobie ended up winning the clash. You understand me? Which also kind of proved to us that, Sound Clash is also growing on the continent of Africa. Remember, there's been other clashes, you know, in other African countries like Nigeria, like Zimbabwe, like Kenya, and all these things, and also Ghana as well. So the cry was for us to bring this sound clash vibe into Africa. Now, when Irish and Chin was doing the World Clash series, you know, the cry was, he called it World Clash, but there is no African contender, you know. And then everybody start talking. So in 2018, Irish and Chin gave Dynamq, you know, the chance to exhibit his competence, you understand me, at the Rambo series. Now, Dynamq did extremely good, setting record for being the first ever sound that Irish and Chin booked for a clash, and he locked off the dance. It was done by an African, you understand me?
Easy.
Now, Dynamq achieving that, going on a world-class stage, going to Jamaica to go, you know, kill sound back and forth and all that. Now, the continent has also been on his mind. Anytime we talk, he's like, yo, Lagazee, let's do something home. Let's do something in Africa. Africa is virgin land when it comes to sound clash. All right. Through that passage of time, he was booked to play in South Africa at Catch a Fire Festival. He went for juggling. He juggled. The crowd liked the juggling. And then they were like, yo, listen, something had to be done. So Dynamq goes a boom and proposed, you know, to the organizers, that is Lioness Production, that, yo, listen, let us introduce Dubplate Showcase. Remember, Dynamq has been doing Dubplate Showcase on Rebel Salute. You understand me? So he said, let us introduce the same thing over here, and then as time goes on, we know what to do. Well, when the list came out, it turned out to be Dynamq and DJ Kobie of Ashanti Hi-Fi. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the beginning of something great has just started. Now, let us start by asking, you know, Dynamq has been on this show before, DJ Kobie has been on this show before, so they need no introduction. You understand me? Today is strictly for reasoning. You understand me? The significance of sound clash in Africa. Now, let me go and ask Dynamq that, where from this whole idea of sound clash or Dubplate Showcase in Africa, how did that step in? Dynamq.
Blessings. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Yeah, manners and respect. Thanks for having me once again, you know. It's always a pleasure to be out here. Big up everybody in Ghana. Big up my good friend Kobie. I mean, it's I've always felt like Africa has always been overlooked when it comes to literally a lot of things. But we love reggae, and it was just a matter of introducing clash to the people the right way. You know, you cannot just throw dubplates on their face. A lot of people still do not even understand what a dubplate is. So a showcase was just an idea to kind of introduce people to what this culture is. And I'm glad that, you know, South Africa gave us a big stage. I think they did it before with Kobie and Lionel, but it was a sound clash. My whole idea is we need to reintroduce it to the people the right way and get them involved as well. And after the showcase, if you watch it, so every now and then I will stop and I'll even try to explain to people what's going on. I mean, if you think about it, we never even had an MC that introduced us on stage. They just threw us on stage, and because that alone, we already had an uphill battle because the introduction wasn't there. A good introduction would go a long way. That's why a man like Vibes Cartel has Nuffy with him everywhere he goes, because that introduction, the first step on stage, you know, can determine how your performance is going to be. But I'm glad that, you know, Kobie was a great sportsman and we delivered, you know.
All right. So, talking about the fact that, you know, the idea of reintroducing sound clash to the African continent, especially in South Africa, and you proposing that to Lioness Production and they accepting it and they deciding to adhere to what you said in terms of going there, because we realize that a lot of people don't even understand the Dubplate culture. So hence, let's go and showcase it to them. First and foremost, you know, from the initial stage, how was it like? Was it taken easily, or you have to battle your way through for them to understand that we need to do this?
Well, I realized the people that's fighting it are the people that supposedly been here before us and feel like they're, you know, the business took a turn, but they kept going straight, you know. So we really have to, people receiving it, they accepted it well, you know. They had fun. The whole idea is entertaining the crowd and letting people understand, I'm going to play this song that you know, but it's going to call my name. And we call that dubplates, you know? And we also got to let them know how we acquire those dubplates. A lot of people don't know how you get those dubplates, because people still asking me, yo, how do you get the artist to call your name? Is that even legal? Like, what's going on here? So it's a long journey to go, and we cannot leave everybody that's interested in the sound system culture, dubplate culture behind, because that interest alone is the support we need. So once someone is interested, we bring them along. You know, I do believe we need to have conferences, sound system conferences, and bring in, you know, the greats like Chin to explain to people what the culture, how the culture really started, because 90% of dancehall artists, they all come from sound systems. The Beanie Man, the Bounty Killer, all these people, you know. So a lot of people don't understand how important sound system culture is. Sizzla just got an award the other day, and he made it clear to big up all the selectors in the world, because without the selectors, his music would probably not be anywhere where it is today. So sound system culture is very, very important.
All right, sound system culture is very, very important. Dynamq, if you can position yourself well so that you can be in the middle of the camera, you understand me? We want you to be in the middle of the camera for us.
Like this? Let me know.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Okay. So yes.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. That way.
Nah, because I can't see myself on the screen. That's why I was moving. You know.
Oh. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. No. All right. So that way. That way is good. Yeah. Yeah, man. So let me come back to Kobie. Kobie, you have been on the South African soil for a little bit of, you know, years now. You understand me?
Yeah.
You know the grounds more in South Africa. You know, you've been in the ghettos. You know, you have a huge following and all that kind of thing in South Africa. Now, how do you see the dubplate culture in South Africa?
Well, you know, what I would say is that the South African reggae scene, they follow what's going on in the world, right? So, you know, they listen to a lot of the clashes. The people who are into dubplates and into reggae music and who are into sound clash, they listen to the greats, right? Since I know the Brethren Dynamq came on, there's been like I would say a 200% interest in sound clash, simply because, you know, that the African identity, you know? So, yeah, you know, so, and then of course, you know, Brethren win everything. So it kind of instill a sense of, you know, with this relatively small amount of people who went to the sound clash, you know, kind of instill in some people, you know, that it's an option, that they can do it, right? The brothers showed the path to do it, showed the way how to do it. So I think everything came full circle when, you know, Dynamq came into town, and they get to see the man himself and see how he operates, you know? So I think now South Africa is ready to see other African sounds compete, right? There's a huge Zimbabwean population in the country of South Africa. And I know in Zimbabwe there's a huge clash culture, right? So you know, it's kind of coming together. You know, the support from, you know, multiple people was evident in the Catch a Fire Festival. You know, big up Lioness Productions. But there was so much support from people from different countries who attended the event. So I think it was definitely a monumental occasion as far as like solidifying Stone Clash and Dubplate as a factor in reggae music, right? I think a lot of people took notice, right? You know, a lot of the South African stuff sounds like African Storm. You know, they represented well with their Dubplates. You know, they throw some talk, Dynamq throw some talk. You know, so I think, you know, a lot of platforms have been set for a bunch of future things, right? And I think that was the intention, right? People see that, you know, we did the Sound Clash and it's just business, you know what I'm saying? And after that, we're pretty cool. I think that's a part of the music and the culture that people really need to see. You know, the sportsmanship involved. You know, we three as songs could clash and do our things and then talk about it the next day, right?
Definitely.
I think it was really important for people to see that and understand that fact and see it in action.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm real thankful to be part of that.
All right. So, Kobie, looking into South Africa now, especially when it comes to Catch a Fire Festival, I think over the years, I don't know how many times they be keeping this festival now. I don't know how many times, but this year, because of the Sound Clash, me being in Ghana, I decided to follow it keenly and see what is going to happen. Now, looking at the stage, looking at the crowd, you know, looking at the presentation, I'm like, wow, this is the future. If all things being equal and Catch a Fire is to make this at the center stage, make Sound Clash at the center stage, I think it's going to pull a lot of crowd. Now, you have been there. You played part on the stage and all that. In terms of looking into this festival now, do you think if Catch a Fire is to give the Sound Clash fraternity the blight that, all right, here we go, let us do this? Do you think people are ready per what you saw on the ground?
Absolutely. I mean, I think people are eager to get involved, and I think a lot of people who have been, you know, cutting their dub plates and following the culture, I think they're ready to take that next step. They're ready to level up. Again, simply because now there's an opportunity, right? You don't have to fly to the United States or fly to Europe, right, to actually be part of a Sound Clash. Now people from other places may want to come to Africa as a destination to see the Sound Clash, to see the multitude of African sounds, right, who have dub plates, right, who have their supporters, right? I think it's just opening the door for a lot of people to participate. And I think it's absolutely necessary for that.
All right. Let me go back to Dynamq. Dynamq.
Yo.
So, Dynamq, talk to me now. You are okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah. That way. All right. So you are literally part of Catch a Fire Festival on a level. Now, talk to me. Talk to me now. What exactly is the future of this Dubplate showcase, you know, sportsmanship? What is the future of it? What future does it hold?
I mean, it's just to bring a different part of entertainment on such big stages, because we have the live band, you know, we have different artists performing, and we have the juggling, but we also need a little bit of a competition to lift up the people. When you look at Rebel Salute, you know, the first time we did it, a lot of people didn't like it, but 3-4 years later, it's a big part of Rebel Salute. You just have to do it the right way. You know, it's not like, we're not saying that we are the founders of Sound Clash or anything. We're just putting it in different platforms that don't receive this type of events. And people love Sound Clash. You see, once you present it the right way, people would love it, man. And then the showcase is just to kind of show people this is what really happens in Sound Clash. Well, this is kind of what happens in Sound Clash. We have to understand this. The truth and the matter is there's less than 5 sound system in Africa that could really stand up in a real all-out war. You know, we're not gonna sit here and act like, you know, people can do this, and you know, because a lot of sound man just feel like having dubplates, having a bag of dubplates makes you ready for a war. Nah, man, it takes more than that. It takes stage confidence. It takes preparation. It takes a lot of experience. And the truth of the matter is most of them are not experienced on that huge stage, because once you get on that stage, there's no room for mistake. You know, that's why you got to leave it to the professionals to bring it. And we could easily say, you know what, nah, man, let's just continue doing Sound Clash and forget whoever's not on board. And we're going to be selfish. And it's like, we're not opening the doors for the future. We want to see more sounds from all over. Now there's a conversation. They want sounds from Japan, sounds from Jamaica, sounds from America to come through and to bring that entertainment factor on that stage, you know?
Wow. So if you're talking about let's do it the right way, let us understand the right way. What is the right way for us to do it?
Well, just entertaining the people. And you see, if I go to a clash and it's a one-sided clash, that simply means one person prepared more than the other person. Mm-hmm. I want to go to a clash, and after listening to both sounds first round, you don't know who's going to win, because why? This one I play a wicked, the next one I play a wicked. It's just like a football match. You don't want to go to a football match and the first 15 minutes is 4-0 already, and you know the first half is like 5-0 already. People are like, yeah, this is a ball. You want a match that ends like 1-0 or 2-1. You know them way there. Yeah. That's the kind of, and then especially when you go to tune for tune now is the penalty kicks. Yeah. You know. So the PK, you know how the whole stadium get lift up on this PK penalty kicks. Yeah. Boy, like, and then we're wondering, oh man, I wonder which players Lagazee is gonna pick. Yeah. That's simply like, I wonder which tune Lagazee is gonna draw, because John or Dynamq come and like him ready for this. So that entertainment, you know, people feeling good, and then after that, well, you can just hold a vibe and say, you know, Lagazee, you get me today, I'm gonna get you next time. Mm-hmm. That's just what Clash is all about. Because me and Kobie, we were walking through the crowd after the Clash and taking pictures with everybody, you know, and everybody was so excited. It's called entertaining, you know, it's entertainment. Mm-hmm. And sadly, a lot of these people have dope box full of everything, Jesus Christ and his 12 disciples on Dubplate, but still don't have the entertainment factor.
Yeah. Dynamq, you know, easy man. You mean people have Jesus Christ and his 12 disciples in their box?
They have a combination of Jesus Christ, Selassie, and Bob Marley and his 12 disciples, and still can't bust dance, bro. Yeah. and the thing that comes to their mind, listen to me, man. Mm-hmm. I've seen you and you continuously talk about sound system culture in Ghana, mm-hmm. and I told you it's going to be a long journey. Just make sure you're ready and prepared for the long journey. You know?
Of course. It's
not going to be easy.
Definitely.
Even me coming into this, it was Africans were the one fighting me. They're still fighting me till today. Like, yo, you know, and I'm sitting there like, I've been all over the world numerous times. I'm thinking you would say, you know what? Maybe he's kind of doing it the right way. But you are busy trying to fight against current. You can't fight against current, brother. You'll get washed out, you know?
Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, 21 going into the R2 here on Asaase Radio, the voice of our land. We're live on 99.5 in Accra, 98.5 in Kumasi, 100.3 in Cape Coast, and 99.7 in the northern region, Tamale. Asaase Radio, we are nationwide, and on Zoom, we're live with DJ Kobie of Ashanti Hi-Fi from Trinidad, and also Dynamq of Dynamq Sound International from South Sudan. Easy. Now, we're talking about sound clash in Africa. You understand me? Because we have seen that, you know, the other world sounds are doing it. What about us in Africa? When it comes to sound clash, Africa is a virgin land. You understand me? And we have been pushing for this particular agenda for so long. Now, out of the blue, here comes Catch a Fire Festival with a Dubplate showcase on that big stage with a huge crowd. And we are like, this is what we have been talking about. And the draw for the African champion and also DJ Kobie, who has been frequent in South Africa, doing things in South Africa, loaded with Dubplate. They say, all right, gentlemen, come and showcase, you know, this to the people. And then it has been the talk of town. Now, let me go back to DJ Kobie of Ashanti Hi-Fi. You know, DJ Kobie, listening to Dynamq talk, you understand me? Do you think there is a way that we will wake up and say, all right, we Africans are ready and we're ready to take the shot now?
I mean, we're saying that from 2018, since Dynamq started do what he had to do, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he was waiting for somebody to represent Africa, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're waiting for the next 5 people. You know, we had you going to Jamaica and playing Super Goal and winning that on Rubber Dub Thursdays, right? There's noise. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you have sounds you have Zimbabwe songs, you have the Mighty Ducks, and you have the Lion Paws, and you have, Shashamani in Kenya. You got sounds, right? So, I think we just, we're moving in the right path. I think, the Catch a Fire Dubplate exhibition format, I think it should go to other African countries, right? To give people the opportunity to do what they have to do. But, I think it's a progressive trajectory of the whole sound system culture, moving forward.
Okay.
I just think that it's in good hands right now.
All right. Looking at the Catch a Fire Festival, like what that Dynamq said, that they throw you guys on stage, there was no proper introduction, there was no MC to say this, to say that, and all that. What do you think should be done going forward in terms of this showcase, or if there is going to be a clash? What do you think should be done properly, so that if the world is watching, the world will know that, all right, this and that and that and that is going on, and Africa is the place?
Well, we need a proper introduction. I'm just going off what the brethren said, right? We need someone, an MC, a microphone controller, who can kind of get the crowd prepared for what's going to happen, right? And then stick to the time slot, right? But definitely someone who is able to communicate with the crowd exactly what's going to happen, explain in a quick fashion what a dubplate is, how we get it, what it's going to be used for, what's the format, tune for tune, those sort of things, what the rules are, right? If crowd participation is necessary, put your hand up, put your hand down, blow a horn, whatever, right? I think those things need to be addressed beforehand. Also, just the build up to the clash, there needs to be some more things like this, right? To where we talking and having the conversations about about the sound clash, right? for people to, be part of the competitive nature of a sound clash before the clash even happens, right? I think those are the important things. I think those minor tweaks are going to get the crowd, involved, because we had a sizable crowd at the Catch a Fire Festival. So I think that really was the issue. And when I mean issue, I mean just the tweak to make it better, right? We have to have a presenter that allows the artist to be prepared, the sound systems to be prepared to do what they came to do.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But so after the showcase now, and you went into the crowd, and people start cheering the two of you for the beautiful sportsmanship that you guys put up. Now,
Right.
did you have the chance to air out some of these views to the organizers to show them that, yo, listen, I think this and this and this should be done for the growth of the culture?
Well, I think it's work in progress, right?
Okay.
I think, where we at right now, we're still having conversation about the event weeks after, right? And there'll be conversation to the next one. So I think that conversation is necessary to sustain and build, for the next event. So and again, Lioness Productions, every event they've put on has been better than the last, so to speak, right? The energy is always amazing. The presentation is always top class. You know what I mean? So I think next year is going to even be greater. I think there'll definitely be more people trying to be involved, right? And I just think we'll just improve on what we did this year. Just work in progress.
All right. Dynamq.
Yo.
I am glad on what you said, that people have Jesus Christ and Haile Selassie combination together with Bob Marley. Yo, Dynamq full of vibe, man. Yo, now Dynamq, talk to me. I would like to know from you. You understand? Because when it comes to Sound Clash, I can say on authority that the places you have been to, the Japan, here, there, and all that kind of things, a lot, of sound systems from Africa are yet to touch some of these places in terms of sound clash and all that. You have the experience and all that. Now, in terms of the readiness of sound systems in Africa to compete on such, big stages, what exactly would you suggest, as in you being that big, selector with a lot of awards, you understand me, with a lot of wins from Jamaica, Jamrock Cruise and all that kind of thing, competing here and there? What would you suggest for sound systems?
To be honest, man, experience. Because when you get on that stage and people are booing you, you have to be able to turn that boo into a big forward. Because some people get booed and they turn coward, And you got to go into a hostile situation whereby I remember playing at Bass Odyssey Dance, and it's every man for themselves, And songs are flinging dubs left to right. It's like a Dubplate shootout. And you have to stand up and defend yourself, And then, of course, also participating in clashes all over the world. But also remember, when you're playing all over the world, you have to play differently. Sometimes the dub plates that work in Africa do not work in America, do not work in Jamaica. So you have to voice certain tunes for certain areas, especially when you go to places like UK and Europe. You have to pick certain rhythms. And one thing I always say, most selectors, they're just the final product selectors. What I mean by that is like, they just get the dub plate and they feel like, yo, them ready. Me have about 16 sizzler dub. But, you don't know when to drop a certain dub. Sometimes you play dub plate at the wrong time. You mash up your whole image for the night. But if you play the right dubplate at the right time, brother, you can lock down the whole dance, you know. And you also have to be able to read, not all the time, you have to read the crowd. Because sometimes you go with an agenda to say, you know what, I'm gonna start it off like this, I'm gonna pick it up after the third or fourth song. But you go over there and that don't work. You know, you gotta be able to be versatile and say, okay, fling a speech and bring the crowd to because you're the masters of ceremony, you're the MC, you know, you gotta lead the crowd. The crowd is there to be led. But most people come over there and they follow the crowd. You know, don't follow the crowd, read the crowd. It's different. Read the crowd and give them exactly what they want. You know, and I'm learning every day. I'm still a student of this. But, you know, I'm hoping that people get experience because I'm so honored to play all over the world, you know, from Japan to Germany to UK to Jamaica to all different kind of islands. And I get to travel with different artists. And I get to go to studios, to Barry Salmon studio, Buju studio, and record these dubplates myself and see it and make the connection with artists, you know. So big up man like Pressure, Glenn Washington, people like Everton Blender, Wayne Wonder, those Dwayne Stevenson, those artists really, they saw the drive in my sound, and they've been working with me over the years. The first artist to give me free dubplates was Wayne Wonder, and this is over 20 years ago, you know. I still remember that. I still have the email. Me and him talk about it all the time. And, you know, that man never stop. Every time you hear Dynamq have a clash and he has time, he always look out. People like Dwayne Stevenson, Everton Blender, who actually took me on tour with him. So this sound clash can open up a lot of doors for you. Now I have a big rhythm that's booming up the whole place. All this because of sound clash gave me the opportunity, the sound system culture, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It means that as a selector, you have to keep learning, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep voicing and all that. Now, in terms of representing on Catch a Fire stage, you know, Dubplate Showcase, from the introduction round to the rounds that you guys play, you understand me? Now, talk to me about your performance on that night and some of the iconic dubs you played and the reactions, you know, you got, you understand me, on stage. And after you got off stage, I'm going to ask Kobie the same thing. And after you got off stage, what was the reactions? You know, what were people saying?
You know, like, there's a lot of people that feel like, yo, I've been listening to reggae music for so long, so I must know what I'm talking about, because I think somebody was opposing the fact that I played some customs. And you can just tell this is a person that is clueless about this. You think me, I go, why? We just one little thing. No, you have to go well prepared. Well prepared. Sometimes you have dubplates and customs that you might not end up playing because you're probably winning or yes, it's a showcase, but at the same time, nobody's going to a showcase to not deliver. Mm-hmm. And to deliver is to entertain the crowd. And if you look at it, I was giving Kobie forward when he was playing, and vice versa, he was giving me forward. You see, that right there is what a lot of people don't understand. We are not enemies. It's not like I don't want the best for him or whatnot. No. I kept stopping and letting people know, like, yo, what are you guys doing? Where's the African hospitality? Give him a round of applause. He's flew all the way from Trinidad on those things, because as much as we are trying to entertain people, we're also trying to educate them about this culture. So I'm glad that the dubplates went off well, because let's be honest, not every customized dubplate can go well in a clash. You know, sometimes you have some wicked custom dubplates that you think in your mind will be wicked, but when you play it, boy, the crowd look on you and give you a say, boy, Dynamq, if you come off of the stage with that, you know. Yeah. So, like, you know, presentation is very important. And I remember playing the Coffee dub, and I made a speech as one of the first selectors to play Coffee on Dubplate. It's the education like that people have to know sometime, you know? And then I'm not going to dwell so much about the custom. I just felt like the job was bigger than playing a custom. The job was to get people familiar with the culture, and now they love it. That's what I'm very proud of.
Okay. But now, that was on stage. Now, when you got off stage and you step into the crowd, were there any talks in terms of what you played and all that kind of thing? Were people cheering?
Yeah, man, because Kobie has some Rasta man ready to fling some stone over my head, you know. Man, them say, yo, Africa, do you come up there and do this? No, it was fun, man. It was so much. I think people were having so much fun that that clash was like a plus to them. They say, like, boy, Jano, big up, bring this again. And I can guarantee you now, if me and Kobie decide to go back to South Africa for a joint tour, it will be very successful. Like, we just go from club to club and just play some music. Sometimes we don't have to wait a whole year. Sometimes we can go half of the year and just go play in 3 little clubs and entertain the people and tell them, say, yo, we are forwarding again next year. And also big up Nicky Z. Nicky Z mash up the place, you know?
Yeah. For real.
All right. So, Kobie, let me step to you. Playing on the stage at Catch a Fire, from the introduction to whatever round and all that, how did the people receive the iDubs, you know? And as you were playing, I saw you go to your laptop and you come to the middle, you look into the crowd and all that kind of thing. You understand me? It means that man is serious at work and all that kind of thing. I saw a Rasta man, you know, coming on stage to give you forward and all that kind of thing and all that and going back. Now, after playing again on stage, what was the reactions and the response from the crowd? And after you're done and you step into the crowd, what was the response? What were people saying?
Well, you know, for my intro round, for me, you know, it was important to play some of the artists from South Africa, right? And you know, that was well received by, you know, the supporters of the artists, right? They really wanted to hear some of their songs on Dubplate. And you know, some of them connected, you know, but that was my intention. My intention was to do that part, you know, not just to play a bunch of songs from Jamaica, or, you know, I wanted to kind of show, you know, the complete nature of the Dubplate game, right? And you know, for the most part, it was well received. I think, you know, Dynamq is a class act. So if you know, his entertainment, his presentation is way up there, it's top class. So you know, it was challenging, you know, answering some of those songs and then, you know, having time manipulated a little bit, right? But regardless, you know, it was well received by people. You know, a lot of, you know, there were friendly wagers inside, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, in my opinion, Dynamq took the exhibition because he made more of a connection with, you know, especially Warrior King custom, you know, and the pressure bus pipe custom was too well put. It was too well put together songs, you know what I mean? And you know, I had a couple customs as well, but it wouldn't have suited the moment. So, you know, next time we play, we'll juggle it. But for the most part, you know, people were really happy. I think what I really noticed was the unity with the people from Africa, period. You know, they were really happy with the outcome. A lot of people came rooting for Dynamq because Dynamq is, again, he's like all of our champion, right? Because he represents the continent, and for those of us who, especially outside of the continent, who identify with being African, you know, it was a really good thing to participate in that. right? It was a good thing to hear, to see Zimbabweans and South Africans and people from all over the continent uniting, you know, because somebody from the continent, you know, was, you know, is putting on a masterclass. So for me, you know, it was well received ultimately.
All right,
Yeah.
it was well received ultimately. But now, when you after the whole clash, when you got off stage and you step into the crowd, I know you were going to hear one and two bickering. Did people receive what you did? Did they come to you and say, "Yo, thumbs up, yo"?
Oh, we had lots of that. Yeah, I mean, when me and Dynamq was walking through the crowd, people was congratulating both of us. But you know, I've been going to South Africa for 13 years. So there are people who understand my journey in South Africa, right? Being one of the Caribbean people who float through the crowd and cool with everyone, right? So just for the representation, the people were very respectful, you know what I mean? And gave me my credit, as far as my participation and what I did. I think it was very well received. I think anybody who goes to Clash in South Africa are going to be surprised at the hospitality from the people, because I think ultimately people just want to see a really good performance. And as I said before, I think we've Lioness Productions, they've set up the proper platform so we can build on that, and I'm sure with Dynamq being part of that, we're going to see a lot of, really big moves, comparable to anywhere else in the world.
All right. Let me go back to Dynamq. 42 gone into the R2 here on Asaase Radio, the voice of our land. Dynamq, going forward now, what should we expect from Catch a Fire Festival? Is it going to still be a Dubplate showcase? Is it going to be a real clash now? And what are the expectations in terms of sound systems who are going to be on this?
Well, I think first of all, my expectation is I need a trophy, because last time Kobie was there, Kobie get a trophy. This time I never get not even a hug. I need a trophy because I was, when I tell my people like, yo, I want a clash in South Africa, there's like, where's the trophy? So I need a trophy from Lioness. But I think we need to do maybe 2 more exhibitions. And then we can give them the real deal. But on a stage like that, we don't really need a hardcore clash. We just need to keep it like that. When something is not broken, don't try to fix it,
Definitely.
I think it's doing well for its cause. We also want some female selectors to come up there. What I really want to see is a tag team clash as well. So like, a male and a female selector going against a male and a female selector, because we have to kind of showcase that as well, And then also, I would like to see topics, because when we did Grooving in the Park, they gave us topics to play songs about. You can play songs about breakup. You can play songs about uplifting Black people. You can play songs about your journey. What song defines your journey? I feel like if we throw those topics out there, say, okay, the first round is 5 songs. We need you to play 5 songs that big up Africa. So you go and dig those 5 songs. They don't have to be dubplates. They can be regular 45s. But if you want to dubplates as well, it's all good as well, But those topics kind of bring the entertainment factor as well of Sound Clash. And, you imagine we want you to play 5 songs that big up Nelson Mandela. And this is in South Africa. People will go and dig and start listening. You'll be surprised how many reggae songs big up Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
And then, of course, ganja is legal now in South Africa. You can say, oh, this round is 5 songs of ganja tune. That is what people want to see. There's a lot of people that have dubplates that don't even clash. So dubplates don't really impress a lot of people anymore. It's the presentation. Yeah.
So we must look forward to presentation more than even the dubs you have in your box. You should rather be focusing on your presentation more so that it will appeal to the people.
Yeah.
All right. And you did say that there should be like twice of this showcase to kind of solidify, whether
I think we don't have to wait for Catch a Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Catch a Fire should be the big show. So before that, we can do little things here and there, maybe in clubs here and there, and just a small showcase to like a campaign on the road to Catch a Fire. Have some, and then maybe have some local DJs have their own small mini clashes, and then the winner will get presented a trophy at the big show.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Kobie.
Yo.
Kobie, talk to me now. As a man who has been on the grounds for like 13 years in South Africa, knowing all the rudiments and all that kind of thing, what do you think should be the way forward for this showcase, since, you guys started, you understand me? What should be the way forward?
Well, like, just to build on what the brethren said, we have to continue campaigning. We have to normalize, playing this music and playing with topics and entertainment, right? 45 clashes are pretty cool, right? I think, again, if Catch a Fire is the ultimate, then we need a build up to that.
Yeah.
And then also, if we have like, I think like this, the sounds from that we don't know, but we do know, right? I think they need to kind of be flexible, start doing some of those things, the Mighty Ducks, the King Lagazee, the different sounds, right? Be able to participate in some of those things as well. And kind of, get their foot in with the people so the people could understand how broad the Sound Clash thing is. They can get, people can get new fans, right? I think people need the opportunity to develop new fans. So, once we understand that Catch a Fire is like, the destination that we go into, we just have to normalize, Sound Clash. We got to play it more. We got to feature local artists. I mean, there's some really good artists out there who really, Dynamq cut a brethren from Zimbabwe after the clash, and his rhythm, roots and culture. I can't remember the brother's name, but two wicked dub. You know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, if that dub probably played at the Catch a Fire, might get a huge forward, So I think we need to create them type of opportunities. We don't really, again, for me, like we don't really need to lean on, just playing, artists that can be inaccessible to some. We need to be able to introduce new artists.
Okay, but Kobie, I would like to find out from you personally that maybe in going forward, in setting up a clash at Catch a Fire Festival, like how Irish and Chin has been doing his world clash and all that, and set to rules and regulations and all that, and he'll go to boom and say, this round we are playing 45, you understand me, at this particular round.
Yeah.
And the 45 round, we are playing vocals, strictly vocals. And I've seen that happen, several times at World Clash and all that kind of thing. Now, do you suggest or will you buy into the fact that now any sound clash that happens in Africa, or even Catch a Fire Festival, if there should be a clash, there should be a round to play strictly African artists on Dubplate?
I mean, I think it would be a step in the right direction as far as cementing you know, artists from the continent who can do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially it'll help expose these artists to other places in the world. Definitely boost their career on some level, right? It just creates a new lane for the artists. You know, so since I've been going to South Africa, you know, I remember when I first got there, cutting dubplates was not a thing. You know, like the local artists didn't think the South African artists were not cutting dubs, and you know, over time it became a thing. The selectors in South Africa, they now cut all their artists on dub. You go into the party and play it, it's like normal. I mean, when I listen to you, you always play some dubs from, you know, people around you. So I think if it's a rule, you know, and especially if you're a foreign sound, then you definitely will have to come to Africa, to whatever country you're in, and do your homework to see who's running the ground. You know, that only benefits the artist, it benefits the culture itself, you know. I think it would be a great idea.
All right. Dynamq, do you buy into the same idea?
Of course, man. Of course, man. I like to play local artists and African artists, and I have dubplate. I have hip hop dubplates. I have soca dubplates. I have all kind of dubplates, man. So yeah, man. There should be a time and space for most of them, especially whereby a lot of people are much more familiar with African songs. If they can hear something in the dubplate style, they'll kind of understand dubplate even more.
Yeah.
All right. So, talk to me, Dynamq. You are an artist yourself. How many sound systems have you cut dubs for?
Uncount. Too many.
Wow.
I can tell you, there's a sound called Sensi Rock.
Yeah.
Why, Sensi Rock been voicing me for over 20 years, man. I feel like they have at least 100 Dynamq dubs, you know. And Sensi Rock is my brethren, like my good brethren. He's from Kenya, but he lives in Houston. Is a brethren that, you know, we go way back and was there from day one, you know. And boy, when the man full of cocoa as well, man.
Wow.
But trust me, Sensi Rock sound, if that sound ever step out, man, we used to voice together back in the day, you know. And of course he started a family and kind of eased off, but man used to voice some tunes, some Gregory Isaac, some Sugar Minot, some, you know, cocoa teas, loaded with cocoa tea, some one-away cocoa tea too.
Wow.
It's just, I was telling him the other day he need to put out the Dubplate mix, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, man.
On this note, I am requesting Nairobi.
I have to go, you know. I got to make a quick run. You know?
All right. So in wrapping up this conversation on the significance of sound clash in Africa, you understand me? Because it's almost time and Dynamq had to go as well. Let me fix up with Dynamq in terms of let's hear from him in terms of the way forward. What should be the expectations in terms of sound clash, you know, particularly at Catch a Fire, because we've started from there.
Yeah, you know, I just feel like everybody's participation and support is well needed. And, you know, you don't have to sink the ship just because you're not the captain of the ship, you know, because a lot of people don't see their names on certain events or certain flyers that the man go on like they're fighting you. Nobody's fighting you. It's just there's time and place for everything. I feel like when Catch a Fire reached out to me, I went there as a juggling selector. And, you know, I did my little research. I've realized, let's bring this down here, you know. And I feel like we have a long way to go in a short time to get there, you know. And I have people from Seychelles already calling me about it. You know, Zimbabwe definitely want a piece of the Dubplate showcase. You know, a lot of people want a piece of the Dubplate showcase. I think me and Lagazee, me and you spoke the other day. My good brethren Chiga might be having an event in Ghana, and I'm still looking into coming through just to hold a vibe, you know, because sometimes your presence is very important. Your presence, and then we just go to the radio station and hold a vibe and whatnot. But you know, we have something special here. We need to protect it and make sure we deliver it the right way. And trust me, it's going to be something that is very, very powerful, that people will have start flying to Africa to go see these clashes. And that's the mission.
All right. Thank you so much, Dynamq, for talking to us. Let me wrap it up again with DJ Kobie of Ashanti Hi-Fi. Kobie, talk to us moving forward now in terms of what you guys just started at Catch a Fire Festival. You know, the way forward, the expectations. Where are we looking to take this?
Well, I mean, again, you know, it's a market. You know what I mean? We can see the potential. I mean, there's like streaming potential. There's potential for, again, all these African artists, South African sounds. I mean, African sound systems right throughout the continent. They definitely can be part of it. You know, like the brother said, we didn't start it. You know, this is something that's been going on. We're just playing our part, right? But we're trying to do it the correct way, and get the sound clash at a level to where it's definitely comparable or even better, right, than stuff that's going on outside, simply because you have the crowd, you have the heads who actually support it, you know? Some places you go see a sound clash and it's, you know, you don't have 5,000 people, you know? So if we have the opportunity to do these performances for 5, 6, 7, 10,000 people, then, you know, that's a step in the right direction. That's actually a new frontier, you know, especially if you're including using, you know, African artists on Dubplate and stuff like that. You know, it's just a whole new thing that you've added to the culture. So I think it's progressive. I think we're moving in the right direction. I think African people on the whole are in control of that direction. And I think that's the most positive thing we can get from this.
All right. Gentlemen, I would like to say thank you so much for the item time and the item space.
Yes, sir.
It was early morning.
Yeah, my respect.
Yeah, it was early morning as you guys your end, but you guys were able to wake up early to come sit down and you know, spend an hour of your time over here talking about sound clash in Africa. I would like to say thank you so much, Kobie, and thank you so much, Dynamq.
Blessings.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, man. Give thanks for having us, man.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dynamq and DJ Kobie of Ashanti Hi-Fi talking to us, you know, about the experience and also representing at Catch a Fire Festival in South Africa.